Just wanted to say a few things about some fiction that I've been reading. Well, going back to August of last year, I picked up the Illuminatus trilogy, and the first read through didn't make any sense to me. The second time I read it, it was almost like an allegory or a myth that had some validity, and the first time it made sense was the third read through, and I realized it was a political novel. So there's that. I have a copy of Island right now by Aldous Huxley, in which he famously states about moksha medicine and an enlightened society living on the outskirts of another society that is warlike. And thirdly is chapter 1 of a book that I listened to on audio tape, an audio copy of Moonchild by Crowley, that was about the Chinese god. But the purpose of this video isn't about fiction. In fact, it's about my meditative practices, and I'm going to read from my journal entries from 2014 into this year, 2015, about my practice. And a couple of days ago, I sat for the better part of an hour and was astounded with the results even after not meditating in more than 2 weeks. I sat down and immediately felt cramped, so I stood up and adjusted my body into a simple Indian position. My eyes closed immediately and I was settled. There was nobody home, but the phone rang once near the beginning. The first thing I recognized was a persistent thought pattern that had been with me since my last float 1 month ago. Then I experienced little to no thought and was deep in contemplation with every little care in the world. The metaphysical and psychic realms were very much on my mind, and after 40 minutes I finished meditating with my eyes open. I'll finish with saying that it is useful, if you haven't been keeping a practice, to start small. Keep no restraints on yourself in the event that you find a quiet space like I had and decide to go longer. But rest assured, if you can't, then your positive intentions alone are enough to create changes in the brain. My meditation was becoming so much feeling into evolution of my chaos magic practice, where it begins and another ends befuddles me. Streaming consciousness has been a regular activity of mine since the degree point I noticed sleep consisted of what carried into the next day. Following realization, I am grateful, in fact, whether it be at school or engaged in a part of a craft, suddenly I felt depersonalized disassociation. So let me just explain the ending part of that there. It's been a regular practice of mine since December of 2014 to keep a dream journal, and sometime before that, but then I finally realized that the brain produces DMT, and the trip is what you make it. It's all about set and setting. So psychedelics manifest the mind.